much.
There we go.
Nice.
Hey, everyone.
Greetings.
Friends and neighbors. I'm thinking of John right now. Friends and neighbors, welcome. Oh, someone's at my front door.
Oh, my word.
Hey, sorry for being a few minutes late, folks. Paul, Matt, I see your comments out there. Let me see if I can click on them. Houston, we have a problem. You can blame this dude down here, Stoney. He said he'd be home by 9:30, but he wasn't.
Great.
9:30 his time. I should mention that the reason this stream is so early in the day for us over here in the States is because it is almost 11 p.m. for our friends from AZ-Sabers. So thank you for hopping on so late at night. It was so nice of you. Nice compromise. Early for me, late for you.
It's okay.
It's all right, yeah. We're fine. It's Friday. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Paul says, or Matt says,
We don't need to be at work at
What
9
the
in the morning.
Hey, Adrian. Hey, guys. Hey, thank you
Hey,
so
we
much
sh-
for
we
hopping
should've
on.
gotten popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Well, why don't we go around the room, do some quick introductions, because I don't know if we've seen Tamino and, oh, how do I take that off of, there we go. Tamino and Katie before on YouTube, so please introduce yourselves, let us know who you are, what you do, and where to find you.
You find us in Switzerland, and basically we're AZ-Sabers, or as you like to call us, AZ-Sabers, I
Yeah.
guess. I think that's our doom.
We have to correct everyone's pronunciation.
Oh, I've been saying AZ-Sabers, so how do you pronounce it?
Well, it's just the British way because, you know, AZ-Sabers. But I know
Okay.
for the American tongue.
Yeah.
Might not
It's
be.
fine. It's fine. We got used to it by now, but basically, yes. We're AZ-Sabers. We're in Switzerland. We're this small.
Yeah,
and-
it's just the two of us, and
Yes.
you can find us pretty much everywhere. We try to be active on all social media channels, but yeah, our main place where you can chat to us and find us is Instagram.
Yeah, we've chatted quite a
Most
bit on this.
hardworking people on the internet. Wonderful couple that I know. They're amazing. They're not selling themselves enough here. They're awesome.
So it's a side hustle. It's not our main job or occupation.
Right.
So I think we have to say that because people often tend to think we're a big company, lots of people, lots of employees, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Your photography on your website, your marketing is quite nice looking. It gives the image of a large company. It really does.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing.
If you put in a lot of effort and love and passion, it turns out to be looking pretty nice. But that's the thing. That's the kind of double-sided sword. You kind of give off that picture of something pretty big, but it isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just love doing that, and we just recently got a macro lens, so we've been doing a lot of macro photography
Nice.
with the Saber. So everything that you see like recently posted is made with a macro lens, and we're very proud. We're like
That's
proud
cool.
parents.
I've seen you posted a couple of, I call them TikToks, but I suppose they're reels on Instagram, but been posting a couple of fun, like you had a bunch of like chassis falling on you and swinging lightsabers stuff. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, they were all prototypes, by the way,
Yes.
for the Verndari.
You've gone through a lot.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot.
Those were all
And, Yeah, they were all prototypes, all of them.
They're
All
like,
of them. So we've got like a
the
box
decision on this
just
did not happen
going-
overnight. It took 99 failed chassis before we got to the one that worked, right?
Yeah,
Pretty much,
pretty
yes.
much.
You know, like it's all small adjustments that you need to make, and sometimes it can just break the deal. And you have to produce another one and test again, and you know,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
make it work reliably.
Initially, we only had the prototype hilt to work with, so some small adjustments, and then you know the
Oh, then you get the final
actual-
product and something moved by a millimeter. Yeah.
exactly, or
Yeah.
maybe you made a few changes, or there's always that you need to deal with. But in the end, we just want to like make the best product possible and actually fulfill like our criteria for even making a saber in the first place. You
Yeah.
see. So yeah, we try until we're satisfied. Sometimes we go.
That's actually the problem. We're trying to please ourselves here, and this in a normal business isn't really what you can do.
Right.
You only have to bring a product to a certain standard, and then usually you stop because it works, or it's just ticking the minimum boxes. But that's not okay for us, so we're just keep pushing it out.
When I thought the speaker was connected to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, it's just the perfect press fit. Like, I'm sure that took a few tries. I can't believe how precise every little, even the stuff that has to click in, like the press fit click in type stuff, it's just so precise.
Yes, that took a while.
Yeah.
As
it's
you
gotta
can
be
tell.
satisfying, you know.
Yeah.
If
So anyway,
it's not, it's gotta be satisfying. It shouldn't be like, you know, as I said before, it has to fill our own criteria first before it can go anywhere. So
yeah, like we have another core here, for example, there's already another iteration of it, just slightly bit better. You know, just to really
well,
get
then screw
the
this, I'm done. Send me that. No, I'm kidding.
We'll just keep improving, you know, and making it even better.
Oh yeah, you guys have done so great. So AZ-Sabers.com, AZ-Sabers for my brothers and sisters in the United States. But thank you so much for hopping on. I welcome you to the channel and welcome you to being one of my friends. I appreciate you guys so much.
We appreciate you for the efforts and your purchase. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And then we have Mr. Stoney Magnum, who really doesn't need any introductions, but Stoney, go ahead for the YouTube people out there. Where can we find you?
I'm Stoney Magnum, and you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It's all under Stoney Magnum, I believe. If you're into lightsaber flow and lightsaber stuff in general, that's kind of what I cover.
He's like, if you have social media, you can probably find me.
Yes. Basically.
LinkedIn?
Well, so Stoney, I'm very curious. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. What?
I asked if he has LinkedIn as well on the Stoney Magnum.
I don't think it's actually under Stoney Magnum. Actually, that's sorry, that's a bit of a lie there. But
Is it AZ or AZ with a D?
T.
With a T? Okay,
It's a T, yeah.
I was saying it with a D on the end. See, dude, it's lost on me.
I had to take a step back there.
Yeah.
Don't forget what a difference the alphabet is, like for English and English.
English and English, right?
Yeah, the Englishes, right?
Yeah, and don't get Australian mixed in there because that's even worse. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, leave the Australians on their island.
AZ.
So today on the channel, other than hanging out with these fine people, I plan to install my I've been calling a Verndari, but maybe I'm saying it wrong because according to Stoney's Instagram last night, he said, finally someone had said it right. And like, what have I been saying wrong? So how do you say it?
Verndari.
Verndari.
There you go. Yeah.
Verndari.
The R is silent, but it's in there.
Well, so the first time I said Verndari, but there's kind of a click at the end of Verndari, like that, right? Okay.
So we've got it derives from an Icelandic word, so basically however you say it is correct.
Okay. Well, I'll probably stick to saying Verndari just because that's what comes to me naturally. I don't have to think about it. I did look it up, and in Icelandic, I believe it means protector or something like that.
Protector or guardian, yeah.
Protector or guardian. So I do want to know a little more about the design process and like how that worked between you and AZ-Sabers. Because I'd imagine, would you guys reach out to Stoney first and say, hey, we want to do something? And what are your thoughts? Like, where did it start?
So
yeah, something.
What
like
happened
that.
on my end, at least, was that I was working. I was stuck in a box, a sandwich making box. I was going nowhere with my life, and then all of a sudden, I just get this message from AZ-Sabers, who offer me like a dream that I've been dreaming of since I was like 6. And I was just like, hey, you want to design a lightsaber? And I was like, yes.
Like nothing else have I ever wanted to do. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm yes. Like that was, I think by that point I had already done the Nomad review. I think you guys knew me.
Yes, definitely.
And then apparently I did a good enough job that they trusted me to let me be a slight influence on their next amazing project. So I'm never gonna stop being thankful for that, because it's an actual dream. It's an absolute dream come true.
Oh, Stoney.
That's nice.
You know, initially, before Stoney even owned a Nomad, I was kind of fangirling over his pages and kind of trying to, because he had a few like old tutorials and stuff that I tried to follow. I mean, I'm really bad when it comes to any sort of flow. Tamino's a lot better. But I mean, there's nothing against, or no one can stand against Stoney. And, you know, I was just thinking to myself, you know, because we were really tiny. I think at the time we had like, I don't know, 200 or 270 followers. And we were just like dreaming of making another saber, because we had the Nomad out and we also did a run of crystal chambers. We had about, I don't know, 20, 25 crystal chambers that we made. And we kept it really intimate. And it's only been like, we've only gotten sales through like our web shop and like nothing more than that. And we were just trying to like, you know, save up to make, to start the next saber run. Or I mean,
the thing is, we wanted to, we have like actually got a whole backlog of lightsabers we want to make,
right?
And
every time I look over at Tomino's screen, he's working on a different hilt.
and you know, the problem with this is obviously you need to finance the runs. You need to put in the money first before, like long before you get anything back, you know. And for us, it's not really about the money. It's more about making awesome products that people like, and, you know, contribute to the lightsaber community and just the passion of lightsabers in the first place.
Yeah.
So we thought about making some replicas perhaps of the films, you know, because they tend to sell very well.
Yeah.
But they don't really go in the direction we want to. We don't really want to just make another rip-off lightsaber, just another replica, another one of many out there already existing, just to add more. It wasn't, we weren't feeling this, so we thought, okay, what could we make that really hits another market, kind of, not high-end, not Nomad like, more a bit for normal people, not high.
Yeah, like I explained it to Stoney once. There's like two sides of the community, I feel and the one side being people who really love aestheticism and like the beauty of, you know, having a shelf queen, something to look at, something pretty to look at, something to impress guests with every once in a blue moon, you know. It might be installed, it might not be installed, and as I said before we went live, you often end up with a bunch of uninstalled kind of high-end hilts.
Got a couple up there. What do you got up there?
We have
anything worth talking about?
The Chaos Sabers Regis, I guess it's called.
I forgot the
up
name.
There is our older Dawn prototype we once made a few years ago, which is installed.
Nice.
And there is another Verndari. And there is a Saber Trio, which is really disappointing.
Unfortunately.
The Saber Trio is disappointing.
Yes, it is. At least for my standards, like the sound is really bad, and
otherwise, you know, I love
the machining is
love
perfect.
Yeah,
machining
I love
is perfect.
The hilt, but
yes,
the one downside is just the sound doesn't hit. You know,
the sound is really, really bad, and because the speaker isn't it's small, firstly, and not well optimized, and secondly, it doesn't have a lit NeoPixel adapter, which just makes the saber look kind of boring, without blade.
Right, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's not built so that you can actually exchange the speaker very well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
This is why
no,
we
it's-
thought about doing it.
because they go beyond what's called the best sabers in the community. They go, Saber Trail, we could do this better.
Well,
Yeah, I don't want to say that.
When it comes to a consumer product, though, I think the Saber Trio is amazing because let's face it, 99% of your Saber people out there are not going to change out a speaker or worry about changing a pixel connector. Like they're just going to use what they buy. And I mean, I have to admit, I got it right here. Their blade plugs are precise to the point where they are perfectly flush with the end of their saber and stuff like that. So I think that for what it is, it's top of their game, really good. It's just
Yes.
Absolutely.
some people
Personally, I agree. Like they make very good high-end products in also their own designs, not rip off, anything like
Which
this.
is cool.
And they're technically my favorites in the sense of bigger companies out there you can go to and actually trust to make your product that lasts and works.
Yeah.
So no complaints there. It's just my standards isn't really met with a saber, but
At least the specific one. So yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
no, I
being
totally
wrong.
get that.
yeah.
I had
Right,
my
and-
first Goth Master chassis coming with a Desert Wanderer from KR. Hopefully sometime soon. I bought it on Black Friday or day after Thanksgiving here in the States, and I've never seen a Master chassis live before, so I'm very curious to see what that's going to be like. I'm sure it's going to be a nightmare to install.
I have no idea, but let us know.
Yeah.
They're pretty, but they also
Yes.
look like it will take hours. I'm hoping that this install takes me maybe an hour. I don't know. I've only installed 2 sabers. Well, one of them I installed twice because I broke the chassis with it.
yeah.
Oh no.
Shit happens.
So I've only really done 3 installs before.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, just let us know. We're trying our best to basically put all the information we can out there, but it takes a while as well for our side, and sometimes it's hard to know what you kind of need as a customer because you're sitting in this yourself, designing this like a whole year long, so you don't really see all the details anymore that you might encounter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let us know if you have any questions.
Well, hey, so why don't I add and switch screens here for just a moment? How do I do this? Is it like that? There we go. Let me move my little helping hands here. So walk me through the design, and I've made a couple of aesthetic changes here. Like I did
Yes.
some rub and buff on the chassis in gold and silver because I thought that might be fun. It's okay. I feel it looks a little bit like a kindergartner's finger painting, but it looks okay. And then I added some black lines on here just to give it some contrast. I don't know if I'm in love with the black, but I used alcohol ink, so it just wipes off with isopropyl alcohol. So I don't know if I want to switch to blue or gold, but the areas that were just machined and left in the raw aluminum, I'm thinking about making a color. But anyway, those watching, those are the couple of changes I've made from what you might get from AZ-Sabers. But I'd love to know a little more about the design decisions and how you and Stoney, made it happen.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we actually didn't talk about this point yet, right?
Yeah, we didn't. That
No,
was
we
the
haven't.
main question, wasn't it?
Yes, sorry.
Right.
As
So
I
Wait, let's Tony.
yeah.
sorry. From as I remember it, it was. I think you just asked me originally, like, what saber, like, do you see in your head when you think of like a Stoney Magnum lightsaber? And
Yeah.
like, I originally wanted and still wanted to was like the saber in my like logo. I wanted to upgrade it, which was this, the same aptly named Verndari from Revan Sabers.
So there was an actual saber for the logo. I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yes, this was gifted to me by Revan Sabers back in the day. still one of my most precious sabers. And I thought, what a better way of honoring that than giving it an upgrade.
Yeah.
So we went through multiple versions of. It was super cool getting to be a part of this, like the evolution of what they did. Because I remember Tamino first, we like took this and we like made this thinner and this a little longer, and like it was just, you saw these small changes over time happen to it. Because really my part was really simple. Like I'm the guy who's just like, okay, what feels nice? What kind of saber do I like? And that's basically, I like my saber with a groove here and counterweight.
Yeah.
And then
for you, it's all about how it spins in your hand.
And Tamino and Katie basically just said, okay, cool, we can work with that. And then just worked fucking magic on it. And it came out, I'll be real honest, better than I thought it would. Like, no shame to your guys' talents. I love the Nomad. This came out so well. Like, I remember we had what was in my mind, like the finished product. And then the next morning, like, Tamino sent me a message, oh, I made some like small details. And then he just posted a picture. And I swear to God, I felt like I fell out of my chair. It was just like it's just like, yes.
Well, when it comes to design work, and I forgive me, I'm no expert on design or machining or anything, but it takes someone kind of visionary for an idea to be created, and it takes a true design machinist artist to take that vision and embellish it to where it's something incredibly beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, it starts in one place and then it goes to perfection, you know, with the right hands.
And we did end up like going like way off of like basing it off of this, and we ended up making just a whole new thing. Like, I remember we had a version that looked a lot like this and like this, but then we added in, they added in they added in this extra section, and I believe this part of it is like the only thing that I can basically see anymore that's like reminiscent of the top of this one and the whole emitter section. So there's still, to me at least, I still see the original inspiration in this saber, but it has become completely its own thing, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's really nice. I really like it.
Thanks, Tony.
I think I've been saying Tamino. I apologize.
As you like, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
From our side, basically, it was the same. We just knew we wanted to make something, and we wanted his expertise on saber flow and dueling.
Yeah, because I mean, we didn't
don't
do
really
that.
do that exactly.
Like I said earlier, there are like two sides of the community. There are the guys who flow and the guys who kind of don't. And the ones who kind of don't tend to have like, you know, more expensive units, and they don't really do much with it except put it somewhere where it looks beautiful. Yeah, like the Nomad, let's be real, it's painful.
Well, no, Stoney tried it.
Stoney almost broke
I do kind of remember that review.
That one's a lightsaber for the stand, and you keep it under your pillow for protection.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much. I actually dropped this on my foot, and it hurt like 2 weeks later.
Oh man. I can only
Elvis, just as a
Nothing happened to the saber.
No, of course not.
it does look like a thick boy. There's a lot of metal in that one.
yeah, Elvis, you have the Verndari, so just as a comparison to give you an idea of how much bigger this guy is.
Wow. Yeah.
Like,
Bigger than a saber trio.
Yeah,
it's chonker. It's a beautiful, beautiful chonker.
At least it's a weapon in this sense.
Ooh, I don't know if anyone's ever asked this before, but Jim wants to know if he can make a Verndari staff.
Funny enough, we had Stoney, we had a concept of it. A coupler that actually uses magnets to connect the sabers, but it kind of went under in the whole development because we were focusing on getting actually the saber out first. and thinking, okay, we can later play with the coupler, and it costs also quite a bit to machine other parts as just prototypes, and not only this, not going into series because you're not sure if it would work yet. But technically, yes, you could connect two Verndaris together and have a staff, definitely.
Yeah.
And
cool.
when it comes out, I'm ready.
Got a couple, huh?
Right. Stoney has the original prototype.
Yes,
I have the original prototype, I have mine, and then my girlfriend also has one. So I've got 3 in the house. So
we got a few more in the house.
Yeah. I also want to say, like, we shouldn't downplay like the work that Stoney did for us, because if it weren't for him, we probably would have come up with a design that's more fitting to our needs, because we're on that other side of the community. We're not really individuals who do a lot of like.
Well, now I actually do.
acrobatics.
Now I actually do flow
Right.
and stuff like this
Yeah.
because I have a saber to do that with. But before, never. No.
No.
So can you Obi Annie?
Yes.
Yes.
You can.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
That's still not me too.
Yeah, and in the process of developing, we had this like flow where we Stoney actually bought a 3D printer, and we would send him the files,
Yes.
and he would print them and test.
So he could actually take them in his hands and flow
prototypes.
them around and try. And this
Yeah.
was, I think, immensely helpful for all of us to actually get to a point of him saying, okay, I like it or not. Because, shipping back and forth prototypes or whatever would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's
Stoney-
hilarious. Because earlier I was looking for a part for my soldering iron, and Katie was like, I wish I could just hand you one through the computer.
Yes.
That's kind of what you did with the 3D printer. It's like
Yes.
it's like 3-dimensional faxing, like for people that remember
Right.
what fax machines are.
But yeah,
Hang on.
because
That's a good way of putting it.
there's a huge part for me in like what I wanted to get across in this, that the saber had to be comfortable. This has to be the saber that if I'm going outside, I'm grabbing it and I'm not thinking about it. So and that's not something I could have decided with just seeing images of it or guessing or paying more than I would have paid for the 3D printer and shipping back and forth constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got the 3D printer, and yeah, it was immensely helpful.
Yeah. And
How
we
was
could,
your
like,
3D printing journey been?
Printed out, and I'm keeping them.
Oh.
I remember when you had bought your first 3D printer, and we had talked a little bit. How's the printing going? You've been able to dial everything in?
So yes and no. I'm moving again. I'm renting out a little like space where I'm creating like my own little creative office away from home.
Nice.
So I'm moving all of that over there, and then I'll finally be able to actually start 3D printing and doing the stuff that we talked about.
Awesome.
I'm
Good for
really
you,
excited.
dude. Tamino and Katie, I'm sure if you've looked at my channel to watch that unboxing, if you saw a couple other videos on there, I've been more 3D printing than lightsabers over the last year or so. Because I had gotten my first 3D printer and just kind of went crazy with it and wanted to make helmets immediately, which I started with the Darth Vader helmet. And if anyone new to 3D
Wow.
printing should not start with the Darth Vader helmet. But so I dived into the deep end, and I've made quite a few helmets for some friends on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's great. It's great. Actually, Tamino's like love for design started there.
Yeah.
So
It's got a really cool helmet.
yeah, some years ago, he started. He actually, it was crazy. He told me, I wanna build a spaceship. I want to build a spaceship from scratch, and I'm gonna 3D print it. I thought he was crazy. I thought he was bluffing. And
If you had never
now
done
there's-
3D modeling before?
No, I bought the 3D printer, knowing that I could create whatever I want, and then with this kind of picked up the CAD software fusion and said, okay, I do this now and learn and do this, because I really wanted to, and that led us basically,
Yeah, now there's like, how long is it? How big is it?
2.4 meters.
Now there's a 2.4 meter, like fully 3D printed model of a spaceship standing in our my parents-in-law's
It's massive.
living room.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
You can find
I
it
don't
on
know.
on their website, right? It's
Yeah,
Yeah, on his website you can find some
massive.
pictures.
It's
Yeah.
so
Cool.
cool.
Yeah, and
That's
we
very
took
cool.
it to Manchester actually to an exhibition. Do you guys know Star Citizen?
Yes.
It's yeah, well, Stone knows.
All right.
Yeah, it's actually from a game, so
Okay.
it's not Star Wars based. But,
yeah.
Um,
Slander.
yeah,
So at the end of the day, basically, coming back to the Verndari, we wanted to make this hilt relatively affordable. So basically, 3D printing, especially FDM 3D printing, would come in handy.
Mhm.
And we first thought about SLS 3D printing, like we did with a Nomad, but it's just too expensive to do
Yeah.
this. And you can't really change much anymore or like optimize later. If you lock your design in, you have to stick with it.
Mhm.
And with a Verndari, that was in this sense easier because we can everything we printed at home, all the cores and parts, and yeah, it's the easiest and cheapest way.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's perfect, man. It's so great. I hate to just keep talking about all the design and the manufacturing and all that stuff before even getting to the install. It's gone like a half hour already, but I am a little curious on the process. Like, is this machine to the point where it's where the blue end needs to be, and then you anodize it all blue, and then you machine the rest so that brings the blue away from the parts? How does that work? I'm also curious about how the gold works.
Yeah, basically you machine it to a certain extent where it makes sense to apply the blue, and then you put it back onto the CNC and you machine it off. All the raw bare aluminum parts you're seeing right now are machined off after anodizing it blue.
Got it. So
And-
this was probably all one smooth piece, blue,
Yes.
and then cut down into it. Okay.
Exactly, and also the same with the gold, basically.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I see. So you go down far enough, anodize gold, and then shave off everywhere else. So really, these
Yes.
were really deep spots, and then you shaved everything else down. Wow,
Yes.
that's interesting. I was curious how that worked, and the pommel. The pommel on these things is just so nice, so beautiful. I did put some weathering in here just to kind of give it some more contrast.
Ah, nice.
I'm not in love with
That's
it. I'm not in love with it.
good.
God, I can't figure out the angle on my camera.
I love it.
There we go.
By the way, I don't know if you saw in the manual, but the hole in the middle of the pommel is technically a pilot hole. You could make a M3 threading into it and attach whatever you like.
Like a D-ring or something, huh?
Exactly.
Or a what do you call those?
Yeah, and the Japanese or katana.
Tassel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of
I've
those.
called it the booby tassel. Probably
Yeah, well,
not the right
kind
term.
of what it is.
I remember the Mira from Saber Trio was the only one available left on one of their store reopenings. And someone messaged me saying, "Are there any left?" And I said, "Yeah, just the Mira." And they said, "Which one's that?" And I said, "The booby tassel one." He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't want that one." Oh boy.
Oh, great.
Fun stuff. Well, hey, why don't we install a saber? There are a couple things that I'll probably mention along the way, but while I'm thinking of it, the knurling on the side of this button so you can actually untwist it, it's just genius. The windows where it cuts into one of these grooves, I think is really great. And just even the threading on this is just, it's so beautiful. Everything is, I hate to make the connection up to like a Swiss timepiece, but like everyone over here, that's what we think of is, you know, the engineering and like well, for me, it'd be like a Omega watch.
Yes.
You know, it's just, that's what this reminds me of. Like it's that high of quality, you know what I mean? So leave it to the Swiss. I'll just leave it at that. So I don't even know why I'm taking the whole hilt apart because I need to do everything right here in the chassis.
Swiss engineering and Icelandic metal.
And
That's
I've
what I'm
I've
talking
kind
about.
of
Vikings.
I've kind of looked it over and tried to figure out, like where I should start and stuff like that. How do you normally plan your attack on this?
So basically what I would start with is putting the NeoPixel together, wiring the NeoPixel up with all the wires you need in the front, and then you basically draw the wires into the core. And the best way you can take that part out that you're trying to get out right now is use something like something flat like a plier, perhaps this, and just go into the slit and push it up.
Okay.
Quickly get one of those if I have one.
This way or the other way?
Just a second.
There we go.
Oh, well.
Did you get it right?
Perfect.
Yeah, basically you can just click in here like that. Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay, yeah, from down under there. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was going down the center hole. All right, so let me grab my stock connector here. This isn't the V3 MPXL, is it? This is something a little different? At least it looks a little different to me.
It should be fine. I think that's an Echo stock.
Oh, is that what it is?
NeoPixel.
Okay.
I think so.
Is it just smaller or less pixels? What makes it
it's an older version. It has less pixels on it, exactly, and I think that's about it. It has also less something with the data line. You can't do certain features that you could with others, but to be honest, usually you don't really care anyway, because it's just you could control the NeoPixel adapter in a different manner from the blade, but I don't really know personally when you would want to do this.
Okay, so I've only ever done the stock V3 before, so normally I needed to bridge a couple of pads, so you might need to give me some instruction of what to do here. Hey, I'm so sorry for anyone out there watching. Oh, hey Jim, I just saw you join up.
Jim? Jim! Woo!
Jim, I can send you a link if you want to come hang out and talk with us while I do this. Just Instagram me, I'll send you a link. But anyway, forgive me, people out there on YouTube. I did not prepare well enough. I had to work a little bit later than I expected today, so I don't even have like wires cut and pretend or anything. I'm so sorry. It might take us a little bit longer to get through this, but anyway, if it gets too late for you guys, just let me know, and we can cut it, and I'll just continue on my own.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, someone's ready, looks like.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We try to organize, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's like, I don't know, you can never win.
Okay, so I need my 22 gauge for the pixel connector, right?
See, there's damn. You see the difference here, perhaps. You see on this connector, you see many more pixels.
Yeah, it's wider too.
Exactly.
At least it looks wider.
And basically, what I'm doing is I'm just preparing them, cut the wires into the length that you need them, approximately at least, and you attach them.
This pixel connector is am I on inches? I am on inches.
Inches, yeah. I was just like, wait, what?
17 millimeters. About 17 and a half millimeters wide.
17? Really? Isn't that 20? 17? Wait. Where is it?
Yeah, 17.4.
That is kind
What are you looking for?
Or I'm just thinking. I think you're actually correct. I'm just thinking wrong.
Do we have it written down somewhere?
No, they're the same size. Definitely are. Yeah, I think you're right. I was just thinking. I think the RGB LEDs are usually 20 in diameter. That's why I'm kind of confusing them right now.
How much?
Basically,
What's the size of the stock one, or the V3?
It's the exact same size, same form factor. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought this
there's
looked
no
smaller,
difference.
but I must be wrong.
Now they're the same. You see that we're using a 3 printed adapter that you have as well there in your heatsink
Yep.
to basically
Oh,
make
so
up for
that's in
the
the same
for
one,
the
okay.
space. Yeah. Why do you actually bother installing? You could just take this one.
Installing is kind of a new hobby for me. I had never really considered getting into it, but I've listened to so many installers say to me, just install it yourself. It's not that hard. Just just try.
Right.
And
It's easy for them to say.
with the 3D printing though, or well, I shouldn't say 3D printing, but like the finishing, like the first time I used a metallic paint, or the first time I used a catalyzed paint, the first time I used a catalyzed primer, like everything was, I had kind of a fear of trying it for the first time. And I got to this point where I was just like, just do, fail fast and then you learn, no big deal. Just do, just go. And, so I keep getting more confident in the painting and the finishing process of these helmets, where I was like, I'm going to try a saber. Let's do it. And I started with the Saber Merchant, the 0.1, which was just like a first time installer's dream. Very, very simple. Not unlike this, where the switch connects the chassis, and just everything's kind of thought out the same way.
The idea with this chassis you have in front of you is that you shouldn't be struggling to install it, because you kind of know where the parts go. So what you're doing is you just put them in their place, you wire them up, and you're kind of done. If you have like a hilt like we have in the background, the Regis from AZ-Sabers, he sells chassis, but even there it's always a bit of a guessing game. What else do you need? What else do you have to buy? And we're trying to give you this information right away. Here you go. Or you get the parts. You can even select them on the website. Say, I need this part or that part because I don't want to buy them elsewhere. We're just trying to bridge those gaps. Is this the wire you're trying to use? I think you might have to reconsider your wire thickness.
I used a 22 for power and a 24 for data. What are you thinking?
24. I think you can go even 28 or something for the data line. That's fine. 22
I have
for normal.
Or no, I don't have 28. I have 30, 24, and 22.
Okay. You see in your chassis, if you look at the bottom, camera here. Gosh, you see those holes?
The hole for the retention?
Where my thumb is, pretty close to my thumb. It's hard to show exactly. Those are the channels where your wire is supposed to go.
Oh, up on the sides there?
Yes, up on the sides, and also kind of you can use a channel in the middle. This is only, I show you like this. You have, oh man, this is hard to show on this camera. you basically have those side channels. Yes, that's easier. Thank you. You have those side channels that I go in with my fingernail here right now.
Wow.
Which you could use for wires. You also have one in the middle at the very bottom, which is just for any other wires you might need. But I never use that. This is just for emergency. If you have any other, whatever, you have another wire going there.
Okay.
And
yeah. Well, for the power, I still need 22 gauge for positive and negative, right?
Yes.
And that is supposed to fit in those channels?
Yes. For example, you see here that the black and red wire.
Is it actually going down into the channel, or is it just kind of sitting in it?
It is sitting in the channels.
Okay.
Sometimes, right, like here, they come a bit out because they have certain like pressures forcing them a bit out, but they are technically staying in the channels because the battery will rest on top of them.
Okay.
Oh,
So.
That looks so cool. I've never been mesmerized by wires before. It's like Look at the it's such a nice color contrast, like just in the print. It's super nice.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so neat, right? The first time Tamino showed me an installed prototype, I think at the time, I was like, because I knew he was gonna go for the same, ideas with the Nomad, where we have this easy, kind of neat install type vibe.
I think if you're looking at the wires that you're using there, I would judge just by the picture that they're too thick. And I think this is just because you have a thicker insulation, right? That's insulation, yes. If you look at my wires, they're very stubborn and a bit wiry, not flexible.
Yeah, mine.
Big American wire.
Yeah, it's not going to focus on something that small.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go through the bottom channel, unless I wouldn't dare drill this.
I think if you have no wire that works, I think it's worth it to have a look into getting some wire that is thinner but still the same gauge.
Yeah. I just used this. Something I found on Amazon. 22 AWG silicone.
Yeah,
wire.
I think the silicone is why you have such a thick insulation. The
Okay.
one I use doesn't have that. I think that's already a good lesson for us that we maybe can
Right,
recommend the wires, because now you have the wrong wires.
Or if there's a way to make the channels and the holes for the channels a little wider, might be an option too.
Could take a knife to it and chip away at it a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it has to. There's a hole drilled all the way through to this part, and I'd have to use a drill bit to try to get down there, and I don't know how I would get that angle. So I think I'm just going to have to go through the bottom. I might be able to get, even the data wire might be a little too thick.
Yeah, thick wires, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, even the
America.
data wire.
Everything's bigger over there.
Okay, well, so assuming there's going to be a little bit of how much space do you think I'll have to put the battery here and the battery not be coming out? Because the 3 wires down the center is probably going to push
It's
the
probably
battery out.
going to be. You have some space. I have a cross section of it in the manual that you can look at. You see basically a cross section of the chassis,
Mhm.
and in colors you see the wires going through. So you get a depiction of what that looks like.
I'm just going to put all 3 wires down here and see if I can close the battery.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this install might be a bust from the get-go if I can't fit the battery in the Saber with these wires.
No.
At which point I'm going to feel even more foolish for not paying the insanely cheap price of having you install this.
So hard
Maybe
to
wait,
put this into
wait,
place.
I'll help you. So, like this. Here's a cross section.
Here basically the cross section, or as well here where you see
Yeah.
You see the yellow channels are technically bigger channels for like thinner wires like the data or the button that you wire up, and the blue here and red or whatever color that is for your NeoPixel, plus and minus. And in the middle you have just an empty channel you can use if you need to, but you don't have to. It's not intended, but you can always.
Yeah, so I think this is a bust, guys. I think it won't work. Where's my battery?
Yeah, we should probably put wire in. Hey. Let's put wire in. That's probably the best.
Yeah, just to include like a foot of wire or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the battery. Okay. So even with these 3 wires, because I would need another power wire for the terminal, right?
You need
Let's
You have three main wires from the NeoPixel going down, and you have 2 wires from the button and 1 wire as a data. So
right,
you have,
but I also need to power the positive terminal for the battery. And
exactly. That's you have 2 negatives from the NeoPixel and basically 1 from the battery. Because 2, you see it in this beginning of an install here. You see those 2 red wires go to the battery terminal, and I will put the terminal in here with another longer wire connected going through to the soundboard.
Okay. So you have the battery going to the pixel connector?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. I'll put a little
Because you don't
I thought I had to go. Okay. So there's only going to be 3 wires in the channel.
Yes, three 22 gauge wires.
Okay.
22, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if this one is if this
That's
time,
too thick.
if
Yes.
this time it doesn't work, we can just do another.
Yeah, looks like it's not going to close.
Yeah, that's way too fat.
So all I can do is get other wire, because I mean, even if I
We could send you some.
Like if I place them all in a separate channel, that might save just. There's no way to get it going that way.
Yeah, I think
No.
you have. They're way too thick.
Yeah. It won't. No, that won't work.
Yeah. No, even if I had tape around this, really squeezing it down, it would be still too thick. Okay, well, there is a electronics store in Houston, not too far from me, that I can go try to find some thinner wire. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I was hoping to be able to do the install on YouTube. Well, I mean, I guess I still could once I get the right wire. But I'm still glad that we were able to hang out and talk about this hilt and the design and everything that went into it. And the design work on this chassis, by the way, so good. It's just so good. And I almost hate to show this because of this all this different rub and buff that I had going on it, but
we're learning too.
It's I wanted to make it mine, because I have a few friends out there that have bought these as well, and I wanted to give it kind of my own little touch to it, so it felt personal. So I tried to put some of the gold on here and stuff, just to give it a little nice look, and put some gold up here on these little pins and things.
Yeah. By the way, do you have a 3D printer, right? Like FDM?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a 3D printer, we can just send you the newer files of our improved ones, and you can print another one.
Okay.
Like, no problem.
Yeah. Maybe you can make those channels wider for me, and I can just reprint this, and I don't have to find the wire. But so anyway, I've noticed that the activation button goes down through here, so my switch is going to be, I would imagine, just E6000, the switch down right there. I did test fit it with this button, and the button, the plunger hit the switch just perfect. Like, I mean, the tolerances on everything are just perfect. But so anyway, what are these little tabs here for? Is it just to keep wires separated and then E6000 that down in there, or is it just a press fit?
No, it's not exactly. Well, it's a sort of press fit. You can try, and you'll see that it will hold by itself a bit. But what I would recommend you do is you wire it up. You make sure that the wires are nicely, going into the middle of the NeoPixel,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make sure that you line up your NeoPixel with those kind of fins, that they're not interfering with the wiring.
Okay.
And once you have everything press fit, you just put it on the table. And if you have a hot glue gun, it would be helpful if you would add some hot glue into the back of it, because that will secure it and make sure it doesn't fall out or anything like that.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. And then I noticed this looks threaded.
Yes, this is a screw that we made if you need it, but you usually don't. If you have to press the heatsink onto your chassis with a bit of force and you feel like it doesn't actually move at all, then don't use that screw.
And then I did put a thread in right here. Is that hitting this same spot, or is that just hitting anywhere?
That's just hitting anywhere on the heatsink, but that's also just like a kind of backup. You don't need to use that. The only screw you ever need to technically touch is the switch to take it out and the retention screw.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I was worried I was going to have to align that with this, but this is just retention. Okay.
Yes.
So that goes on to there, wires down through there. Okay, so I'll have two. That's what the other two channels are for. The other two channels are for my switch cables.
Yes.
Okay. And
you have the manual, right?
Yeah, I think you emailed me a PDF.
Yes, exactly.
I would imagine it's my 30 gauge. I can use 30 gauge for the switch and for the speaker, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, and the data should work with this as well.
Yeah, the 30 gauge fits no problem.
Bless you.
Thanks.
So we'll have the switch, negative terminal, positive, negative, and data coming down through there. What is the back of this area for? So what I need to get in here for that it has a removable door?
This is basically just to bring your wires from the NeoPixel into the core and make sure you're kind of, wait a second, I have one here, for example. I started wiring this one, so you can basically push with what you call those again, I forgot. Exactly, you can just push them in there where you need to go. And also, if you then put this door on at the end, if you ever need to remove this, you have a hole. Wait, I need to show you somehow. You have a hole up here, which you can push something thin through to get the door back out again if you ever need to access it.
Got it. Okay, so otherwise the door is just there for wire maintenance and then to cover it. So I don't have to worry about getting in there. It's really just for the install.
Yes.
Okay. And then feed the wires down, battery, terminals, everything ends up down here. Okay, and then so for speaker, I got do you happen to know which is positive, which is negative on the speaker?
Doesn't matter.
Well,
you just wire them up. Apparently.
I know there's two theories on that, but I'm one of the people that believe positive and negative matters because the speaker moves a certain direction, up or down. So, but either way,
okay, because I just wire them up and they always seem to work. So
it will work either way, but one, the speaker's moving out, and one is the speaker's moving in, depending on which way the polarity is going through it.
Okay. I think if you look very, very closely on the white pad of that speaker there, where the contact is on, there should be a plus. Like, it's just very, very small and faint. It's like embossed.
Yeah. Okay, so the side facing this way is positive, and that one's negative. Okay.
Yeah.
Wires go through the bottom, which is there a channel for it? No, there's just space. Okay. And then our soundboard, I would imagine we install it, and then when we're done with our install, we'll flip this over. Okay. So that the memory card is facing upwards. And then is this just a press fit? Do you guys normally adhere these down here or anything?
No, it is just secured with that lid that you're having lying on your hand on the left there, which you just push on top, and that secures everything in place basically.
Oh, nice. Very, very smart. I love it. I love it so much. That's cool, because then if you do need to lift this up just a little bit, it's always ready to go. You don't have to worry about ripping glue up or anything. This is the first time I've ever seen a soundboard diagonal in a chassis, and it makes so much sense that I'm surprised it's the first time I've ever seen it diagonal. And that would be the whole install then, right? I'm not missing anything, am I? Oh, there's a
yes,
kill
you're
switch.
missing.
I've never wired it.
Yes, that's basically pretty easy. You have the battery terminal that is next to the soundboard is your negative. So you will wire this up. the battery terminal with a small wire going to the kill switch, and the kill switch going to the soundboard.
Okay, so there's 3 terminals on this. Walk me through how that works.
Yes, you can cut one of those off
Does it matter
and
which?
just attach. No, it doesn't matter, because just one of the sides is on and off. That's it.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So for example, depending on which one you cut, that might be on and that off. If you cut the other one, then that's on, that's off. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't cut the middle one.
Oh, okay. Good to know. So I was going to cut the middle one.
Yeah, no, don't cut the middle one.
Is there a spot for this?
Yes, the spot for this is in your lid that you're pushing on top of the soundboard.
Okay. Let me take a look. So that's down here?
The opposite way. Exactly. You have to maybe sometimes you have to with a blade scrap out some plastic because it can
I do have one
sag into the way.
I have one little string there that's blocking me, but okay, so I'll with a little pick or something, I should be able to easily turn that off. Oh, let me make that big so I can see. That's so cool. So the lid is also going to be wired in, so to speak, so you don't have to worry about the lid ever running away from you. And that's, guys, that's just every single decision is so good. Perfect. Well, that's the whole install. It looks like there was 2 switches in the bag. That might have just been an extra, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yes. Just in case one breaks or might be faulty, you have another one.
And what kind of speaker is this? It reminds me of a particular KR model, but which one is it?
Yes, it is a particular KR model. It's the, I might be wrong, but I think 3 watt 4 ohm speaker, which is really, really bass rich.
Mm-hmm. It's their 22, if I'm not mistaken, right?
27 millimeters in diameter.
27?
Yes.
Wow, it looks so small. Okay. Well, I have a couple of 24s, and it reminds me of that size. But
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think I have received all of the knowledge I needed to get out of your head for me to install this. So I'm glad that we still, even though I can't finish the install because of the wire, I'm still glad that we were able to talk through this, and because now I can install it without, maybe having you babysit me and hold my hand the whole way.
Well, we're happy to do that. So in case you would like us to have another, we don't mind.
Yeah,
definitely.
Just let us know, yeah.
Oh, I see Brian just joined. Hey, Brian, welcome. Well, yeah, so just before we, stop the YouTube portion of this, what is the price now? I think with the exchange rates and all that, it's roughly 300 US.
200
oh man.
for
We
installs
also get
and
our own.
100 and 100 and
Let's see.
It's currently, it's always hard with the conversion rate, but the conversion rate is almost the same as Swiss francs. So right now it's 150 Swiss francs, which is like roughly 100. Yeah, exactly. The kits that you're having.
USD. Free shipping. Roll.
Okay.
So most of my friends would do installed, and I might have been talking over you, Stoney. What was the installed price?
Installed price was 289 USD at the moment.
289 for a installed Golden Harvest custom made lightsaber. I mean, it's the best deal out there. It really is. I've had people comment on my other videos saying, well, yeah, that's a NeoPixel. Those are too expensive. I'm like, are they though? I mean, and so I've shared the link. And of course, I tell people that you don't ship blades, which very understandable with the price of shipping from Switzerland, and batteries because of safety. But who doesn't have 100 blades and 100 batteries laying around in this hobby? Well, me and my friends do.
Actually, I have to correct you on this one. We have now an option which you can choose a blade or have a blade and a battery. This is now a thing. We have very limited quantities, but it's available.
Really cool. All right.
It's a complete
Do you
pack.
still ship through the Swiss Post at that point, or are you doing DHL? That okay.
That's our kind of problem we have. We are so small, we can't we can't keep up with volumes that DHL wants us to ship. And we used FedEx, but FedEx just breaks your bank. So we had to kind of cancel those. Sometimes people use FedEx, and we used Swiss Post in the past, and we've noticed that Swiss Post and FedEx are very, very often the almost same speed, same quality of service. And we were like, why are we paying 3 times more for FedEx if the Swiss Post even sometimes delivered earlier? So, it's
generally speaking, the Swiss Post hasn't disappointed as much.
Yes,
So,
that too.
yeah, I can't say like one is like really great and the other is pretty bad. I can't say that, but
And when you
Postal
sent me
Service-
mine, it shipped fast. It just sat fast and long at U.S. Customs.
yeah.
I mean, it was
Yes.
there for what, 35 days maybe? Because me and
Yeah.
Katie had been messaging on Instagram.
Yes.
And yeah, I couldn't believe how long it was stuck in customs. I was, so for those of you
Yeah.
out there, I was freaking out. I was like, it's lost. It's never arriving. It's a done deal. I give up. And Katie was like, well, it's only been 30 days, and that's kind of what we're used to with other customers. So I waited, and sure enough, 3 days later, it was like, all right, past customs.
It's a very random game. Like we sometimes have 30 days where it just takes its time, and sometimes
It's
literally we sent something
so
to the US
fast.
and it took 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
know,
totally
see,
random.
when I get stuff DHL from Germany, Spain, and well, Indonesia, I think that's where Saber True is, right?
Yeah.
Malaysia, I think.
Oh,
Malaysia, sorry, yeah,
right,
Malaysia.
yeah.
So those 3 countries that I've gotten DHL packages from, like 48 hours. I couldn't believe how fast it was.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
y'all
it
What
never
did
went
you
through
pay?
customs.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's because it's the post, because then it comes U.S. mail, and that always goes through customs, would be my guess. But I don't know.
The thing is, though, that even if we use FedEx, they have their internal customs, but they still sometimes take up 10 days easily.
Yeah. Well, either way, I was happy to wait the time, because once I received it, I was just so happy with it. But
Good.
I digress. So I want to just say thank you another time for hopping on and talking me through this. I do feel like I have the confidence now to go and finish this, other than, trying to get things to fit spacing wise. And I would imagine you feed your wires up through this before you wire the switch, so that way you can, pull it back down without having to use the tweezers and, try to fit things in. So I'll probably
Yes.
run into those little.
Again, if you have any questions, just hit us up quickly on Instagram or even a video
Yeah.
chat. We don't mind to help, at all.
Sounds great.
The
Well,
friendliest and most helpful people ever. Really.
yeah.
Not
Y'all
hesitate to ask
have
them.
been fantastic. The floor is yours. Is there anything else not that my videos get a ton of views, but this is a platform to say something. Anything you want to share about the company, or Stoney, anything you want to share about this saber that you want people to know?
I just really hope that more and more people see the love and care that we really put into this, because there really was, this literally took us 14 months to make, and every single day that was put into this, I feel like shows, and I feel like the 2 or 3 reviews we have up now of other people opening it really kind of sells that it's not just us being biased talking about it. We really wanted this saber to be something special, and I hope people continue to agree with that, because I'm really proud of it. I'm super happy about it, and I don't think anyone who gets it will be disappointed.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the more we sell of these, the likelier it is for us to make another another run soon. And as Tomino said, there's like a backlog of
There's
designs.
I've been very lucky to get a preview of some of the other designs that this man has made. There are some goddamn beauties in there that should really see the light of day. So if for nothing else, go buy the Verndari so we can fund the next run of sabers from AZ. AZ-Sabers.
All good, don't worry.
Because two more sabers down, and like the rest of these people, like the rest of the saber community's got like real competition as soon as AZ-Sabers get their footing.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you, Stoney.
Yeah. For me personally, I just really hope people can appreciate and also, really just like what we made, because we made it with passion. We made it with sweat and tears very often involved, and
don't forget the blood.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, in the case of Noah, that was actually really true. No, I just hope
with my wire trimmers here a minute ago, so I'm bleeding right now.
No.
Yeah, I just hope people can appreciate it and understand it a bit, what we put into this, and then I'm happy.
I think it shows. Well, thank you again. Tamino, I don't know why I keep saying your name right. Katie, Stoney, thank you so much for hopping on today. I'm going to end the live, but don't close your browser just yet. We can hang out a little bit after. Hey,
okay.
May the force be with you all. Thank you for joining, watching this content, and I guess we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining.